So the folks here that are flying Southwest Airlines are expressing a great deal of anger and frustration toward the airline because they feel they're just not getting enough information about all of these cancellations. Here out of Atlanta's airport, 230 flights have been canceled. Of those flights, a majority of them are Southwest Airlines. The airline has canceled nearly 70% of its flights from Atlanta. In fact, this line here behind me, these are folks that were on board one of these flights that was canceled. And I'm about to walk with you to show you, to give you a sense of just how many people are in line. Just about everyone that we've talked to out here has been here for several hours. We're talking about anywhere between 2 to 3 to even 4 hours. My photographer here is going to show you just how long this line goes. We're going to take a bit of a walk. It goes all the way towards that north checkpoint, makes a left, and then goes right back around to the Southwest Airlines terminal.
Flights mainly from Southwest Airlines into or out of the United States are experiencing mass delays due to heavy snowstorms. CNN reported that more than 2,892 flights into or out of the US have already been canceled for Tuesday as of 9 a.m. Eastern time, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. Of those canceled flights, 2,522 are operated by Southwest. So this has had an effect on stranded passengers. And some people from Austin to Seattle were losing their minds over the flight delays. So let's take a look at them.
I want my stuff. If it's gonna go somewhere, give me my stuff. Give me my stuff right now. Give it to me. Give me my stuff. Exactly, because it's in my plane. I'm not gonna get on this shit. Give me my stuff. They got me lost at airports. You don't know. I don't. You're gonna help me? You're gonna help me, huh?
I can understand the frustration, but I can't excuse the behavior of these Karens. I mean, the workers there don't want to have to deal with your ridiculousness. They're also being, forced to work long, hard hours and have to deal with being berated constantly by passengers. So maybe just a little bit of exercising empathy in these situations would go a long way. But getting back into the massive flight delays, they've even hit major airports. So CNN reported that the storm slammed two of its biggest hubs, Chicago and Denver, at a time when COVID and other winter ailments were stretching staff rosters. Southwest's aggressive schedule and underinvestment have also been blamed. The winter storm that swept across the country was ill-timed for travelers who had started pushing Christmas week flying numbers back towards pre-pandemic levels. On Christmas Day, 3,178 flights were canceled and 6,870 were delayed, according to FlightAware. On Christmas Eve, there were a total of 3,487 flights canceled, according to FlightAware. Friday was the worst day of this streak with 5,934 cancellations, while Tuesday saw almost 2,700 cancellations. So Southwest Airlines is pretty much in gridlock over these canceled flights. Let's pull up their tweet. We continue to experience high call and social inquiry volumes. Please check your flight status and explore self-service options here. But it's not just Southwest, the company, that has been stretched and overwhelmed. It's also the employees who have been forced to work long hours. Let's pull up this tweet from someone who was meant to fly Southwest. Your solo desk agent worked 16 hours, was asked to keep working because of canceled flights. They broke down crying at the desk. This employee treatment is not okay. I can be chill about weather/computer issues, but abusing your workers will make me switch airlines. And I think it's really important that someone is, in the midst of people freaking out at the employees, is highlighting the stress that the employees have been forced to put under through no fault of their own. They don't control whether or not the flights go out. They don't get to make that decision. So if you're frustrated about a flight cancellation, just take a deep breath before you go and talk to the person at the counter, because you know that they don't have the power to put you on that plane and make that plane go where you want it to go. But the Southwest Airlines CEO, Bob Jordan, responded to the situation, and here is him explaining what went wrong.
I want everyone who is dealing with the problems we've been facing, whether you haven't been able to get to where you need to go, or you're one of our heroic employees caught up in a massive effort to stabilize the airline, to know is that we're doing everything we can to return to a normal operation. And please also hear that I'm truly sorry. Here's why this giant puzzle is taking us several days to solve. Southwest is the largest carrier in the country, not only because of our value and our values, but because we build our flight schedule around communities, not hubs. So we're the largest airline in 23 of the top 25 travel markets in the U.S. Cities where large numbers of scheduled flights simultaneously froze as record bitter cold brought challenges for all airlines.
This man is not keeping his job. But this caught the attention of the United States Department of Transportation and the agency's dissatisfaction with Southwest Airlines cancellations. CNN reported that the United States Department of Transportation issued a statement on Monday's massive flight cancellations by Southwest Airlines, saying the agency is concerned. US DOT is concerned by Southwest's unacceptable rate of cancellations and delays and reports of lack of prompt customer service. The department will examine whether cancellations were controllable and if Southwest is complying with its customer service plan, the agency tweeted. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg issued his response here.
This is an unacceptable situation. You look at the number of passengers who are stranded. You look at how hard it is even to get somebody on the phone to address it. From what I can tell, Southwest is unable to locate even where their own crews are, let alone their own passengers, let alone baggage. So I conveyed to the CEO our expectation that they are going to go above and beyond to take care of passengers and to address this. As of today, as I'm looking at the different airlines, most of them are in the low single digits in terms of cancellation rates, averaging about 5% for all of the other airlines. For Southwest right now, we appear to be north of 70%. So their system really has completely melted down. And I've made clear that our department will be holding them accountable for their responsibilities to customers.
Well, I'm glad that they're looking into it. Jessica, you were flying for the holidays, right? Did you have any delays or cancellations?
I got out early. I came across the country on December 15th. But yeah, the crazy thing about this whole story is there are two things the government could have done to avoid this entirely. One would have been to invest in a high-speed rail 10 years ago. The other would be to regulate corporations to ensure that airlines cannot do this anymore. And we've got PDB on here talking like he's still a McKinsey consultant. I mean, I bet he can write a really strong memo. But now you are a government official. The CEO of a corporation is not going to listen to your recommendation because you don't work for McKinsey anymore. Now you're a government official and you have to make laws and regulations if you're going to do something about this. The thing is, the amount of time people took waiting at airports, going back to hotels, going to their relative's house, they could have taken a train to their destination with an Amtrak without even a high-speed rail, but people are resistant to do that. And the yelling at service industry workers by people who are frustrated because they're missing their flights is ridiculous. Like when I was a bartender, someone screaming at me never made me get their drink faster. And I guarantee you that Bob Jordan, the CEO, will not step in and get on the phones and help people with customer service, go man a desk at one of these airports. Absolutely not. But he should. Like that should be the mentality. Like this is your company. Like you should make sure that consumers' needs are met. But of course, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, and just a reminder to everybody who's had frustrating flight cancellations or delays, just remember that it's not the person sitting behind the desk who is at fault for what's going on. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at the CEO, be angry at the corporation itself.